This is the SteelSeries Rival 3, or at least the thing that's on my desk. Now this budget mouse can be found for around £35 in the UK, around $30 in the US. If you're interested in purchasing it, the locally link in the description below will take you to your localized Amazon store. Now furthermore, if you have Instagram, I'd very much appreciate a follow. It's at TotallyDubbed. And if you're interested in all electric or hybrid vehicles, do check out Totally EV. Your support would be greatly appreciated. So let's see how this budget gaming mouse competes with some of its competitors. So first off, let's talk about build quality and design. Now the mouse itself is terminated by a USB cable. It's got a rubber design. You can see over here it does already have some kinks in it, although that might come across after several weeks or months of use. Now the mouse itself doesn't have too much trailing when it comes to at least with my soft mouse pad or even in terms of my hard table over here. Now the mouse itself, the dimensions will be on your screen, although it's a relatively low-ish profile mouse, so therefore people with medium to small sized hands won't have any issues. In terms of my hand size, it's around 18 centimeters from the top to bottom, and you can see how it fits over here. I'm actually pretty comfortable using it, although I think most people will be using it as like a claw grip mouse or let's say fingertip grip mouse rather than a palm grip type of mouse. Now the mouse itself weighs 77 grams, that's without the cable, and therefore it's pretty lightweight in order for you doing some sniper flicks, or for example if you're on Counter-Strike using low DPI like I do, then you won't feel like it's a heavy mouse to kind of drag around. Speaking of which, the rubber feet underneath have not too much friction attached to them. They can be removed and replaced, although I suspect most people at that point will probably be buying a new mouse anyway. I can't talk about longevity about that because, well, it's very hard to test for that other than using it for, well, 2 to 3 years, for example. Now the mouse itself has got 2 buttons on the left hand side. It's got one at the top, and you've got your default scroll wheel button and also the left and right buttons as well. Underneath the left and right click buttons, you've got SteelSeries mechanical switches. They're rated for 60 million clicks. I can't test those claims, it's just worth bearing in mind. Now there's RGB lights which also stem around all the way around the mouse, and on the SteelSeries logos, the 3 zones, RGB zones that can be customized through the software, which we're going to talk about in just a bit. Now other than that, it might be pretty obvious, but the design of the mouse itself is all black. It's got a kind of mattish design, and for someone like myself who has relatively sweaty hands, specifically when it comes to 1v3 clutch situations, I found that it does seem to pick it up a little bit, but does wipe around pretty easily. So therefore cleaning this mouse won't be an issue, and for people like myself, then it won't be an issue in the long run. So next up, we're going to talk about software. Now the SteelSeries Engine 3 is free to download, and through it, it's pretty easy to configure. So you've got the apps which are now allow you to use the RGB lights with a variety of different apps which are included, which is nice to see. You can add the games via the library section, but what we're really interested is in this menu. Now that menu brings up this, and it allows you to customize the mouse to pretty much your heart's content. Now through the buttons over here, you can see I've customized it to 3 and 1. If I were to click this over here, you can see that you can customize it to pretty much anything. You can even set a macro as well. So it's great to see there's a full amount of customizability over here, and the fact that you can pretty much assign any of the keys, including the left and right buttons, to anything that you wish. You can see here you've got acceleration and deceleration, the angle, snapping and polling rate, and you can adjust the DPI or CPI in this respect in 5 different levels up to 8,500. In terms of increments, you can see it's 100 increments per thing, and it's actually pretty clever. As you can see at the top, if I were to put it down to an increment, that level 1's CPI kind of adjusts. So it's great to see that's actually pretty well integrated over here. Now moving on from that, we've got the illumination, and you can see you've got 3 separate zone RGBs, so you can customize these. If I were to click this will only adjust the top bit, or you can drag and do 2 or 3. In my case, I did 3, and I've put it to color shift. You can set the speed, and you can also set in terms of how the wave goes, if that makes sense, the intensity of it, and even customize the colors to your heart's content. It's really nice. Furthermore, the fact that it's integrated with a live preview, allowing you to essentially see what you're doing in real time, and you can save these via the configurations and therefore enable them or disable them depending on your game or setup. And now we move on to performance. Now this mouse itself has got SteelSeries' True Move core sensor inside, therefore it gets from 100 DPI all the way up to 8,500 DPI if you're going to really use that. Its acceleration is rated at 35 G, but it's got no hardware acceleration to note. From my test, I found no no issues when it came to one-to-one tracking, or even when it came to using it when it came to Counter-Strike. It seems to work really well, and even I quite like the fact that SteelSeries gives you a notification to disable enhanced pointer precision through Windows if it's been enabled previously. So just worth bearing in mind. I like that SteelSeries have integrated that through their software. Now, the polling rate is 1000 Hz at 1 millisecond as well. That's at least rated by SteelSeries, and again, no issues whatsoever. So in terms of using this, in terms of actually gaming, in terms of raw core performance, I think a lot of people will be perfectly satisfied. So now I'm going to go quiet and give you a little bit of a clicking demo. So hopefully that little clicking demo gave you an idea, and also kind of like slamming it down, you don't really hear a kind of spring back, which is something that I would say plagues the Logitech alternative. Specifically when it comes to left and right buttons, they don't have a springy type of sound. They feel really well planted and they're independent from each other, so therefore they're not affected. So even though it's a little bit off the ground over here, as you can see, it doesn't have that issue. So if you have that sticky finger problem, let's say, so you've got sweaty fingers and you come to lift off, it's not going to lift off with you. It's really well designed. So in terms of that performance and in terms of the clicking, I must say I'm pretty impressed with what SteelSeries have managed at this budget price tag. So what do I make about the SteelSeries Rival 3? Well, quite frankly, as I mentioned in the review, it's got a better build quality over the Logitech alternative and also has better software support in comparison to, let's say, the Abkoncore. As such, given this mouse price tag, it gets my value award. It is basically one of the best budget gaming mice you can find on the market today, and I think SteelSeries should be commended for that. But let me know in the comments below what you make of the mouse. Do you own it? We're thinking about buying it. Just let me know. I'll be very much intrigued to hear your thoughts. If you do like this type of review, make sure you give it a like, subscribe to see more, and of course favourite and share, as it always helps the channel grow. Alright guys, I've been totally dubbed. Take care and bye bye.